Welcome in, everybody. I'm Mwest, my co-host Nug, and this is another episode of This Needs to Be Addressed. And today, this is a special day. This is a day where I texted Nug and I told him, "Hey, I'm proud to be an Xbox. The Xbox Game Showcase for 2024 blew the roof off. I've been hearing nothing but positive news about it. Everyone is enjoying it. No one has had too many bad things to say about it, which was awesome. Xbox just brought the games. Nug and I are here to discuss it with you. He does have some issues with it, which I'll let him address, but I think he's been keeping the same energy with all the game showcases. I'll start off with a few things that I liked right off the top, and then I'll kick it over to you, Nug, so you can talk about one game that I saw, kind of looking through the list. Like an unknown game that was pretty exciting for me was Mixtape. It reminded me of the Wonder Years. I thought that was really cool, something that I wasn't familiar with, and I was very excited. There's some other games in here that I definitely want to touch on, but I want to start off with something light and then slowly get into some of the bigger ones. What did you like? Maybe something on the lower list or unknown?
Well, the lower list, I don't. Okay, something that I felt like didn't have a lot of hype coming in was South of Midnight.
Okay.
Sorry, my hat. South of Midnight, because we didn't know what it was, and so I think South of Midnight is one of those lower list games that coming in I had no idea about, but now I can't get enough of it. As somebody who's spent a lot of time in Louisiana, a second home for me. Seeing a game based in the deep South swamp look like of Louisiana, cannot wait to play it. And then I'll get right into my my negatives. Nothing crazy. What I've said for every single showcase that we've gotten is I don't like where we get release dates too far out. And I feel like a lot of people said that about the PlayStation Showcase. I'm going to keep the same energy with the Xbox Showcase. Giving us stuff that says coming soon or stuff that says coming in 2024 when we're in 2024, or giving us things that say coming in 2025, completely unacceptable, in my opinion. Completely unacceptable. I like for us to get games, if they're about 6 months out, we need to start having release dates. And I think that they kind of pick and choose when they want to do that. Like for Senua's Hellblade, we knew that game was coming out May the 21st, all the way back in January. So 5 months in advance, they had a date that lets me know that the game was ready. When I don't see a date, it makes me weary. And I feel like nowadays with things getting delayed, postponed, scrapped, unacceptable, especially with stuff like Indiana Jones. We've been getting teased about that game for almost a year now. You and I have been talking about that because we watched the showcase together. Right. And now here we are. It says coming in 2024. We're already in June. So I'm pretty sure holiday time, but I that's just my only gripe. So outside of that, near perfect show. Just pretty much everything was no release date outside of a couple games.
Right. I honestly, had I known, we would have at least touched on some negatives. I would have tried to prepare one, because thinking, I don't know that there was anything that I didn't like. It felt like they did such a great job with the show. The whole time, my friends and I were kind of communicating back and forth, and everybody was like, "Oh, did you see this game? Did you see that game?" And it felt like a E3 show. Everything that they dropped or mentioned was exciting. I do agree with you. A lot of games are much further out and with no actual release date. With so many great games here, as gamers, you want to know, hey, give me a little something, right? But I am prepared to wait as a gamer. Every time they try to put a date, then the date gets bypassed and we get upset, and then there's no communication or bad communication. It's always something, right? But I think that they did such a great job. I mean, there was the Gears of War E-Day, right? There was Assassin's Creed, which we already know is coming out. There was some updates to Fallout. There was some updates for Starfield. Dragon Age is one that I wasn't aware of that I'm looking forward to. State of Decay. Doom. I haven't messed with a Doom in a long time, but golly, this Doom looked like it was fire. We asked for Xbox to give us games, and they did that. And here's one thing, every time people talk about something good, they always bring in something bad, and I want to do that real quick with this. Xbox closed a bunch of studios, and with all this bad studio stuff, the minute they was we got this many games, everybody was like, F them studios, tell me about the games. I've heard nobody really talking about that stuff, or it just disappeared so fast.
Cut the crap, Wes. Cut the crap.
It went away so fast.
You were the main one talking about this is BAU.
It is
as usual. And now here you are a couple weeks later talking about, well, nobody's talking. When we wanted to talk about it, you told everybody that we shouldn't focus on that because BAU.
I didn't tell everybody, so let's correct that. So I'm telling everybody, what's the difference between a studio getting closed down or a normal mom and pop losing their job? People don't care about normal people losing their job, but they're so up in arms about some game studios. These are people, and it's sad that they lose their job, but this is what happens when takeovers happen. What I'm saying is y'all don't care about this person, but y'all care way more about this person, and I think it's the same thing to me.
But I'm saying now you're like, hey, you're surprised that nobody's mentioning it anymore. So I think that's interesting.
I'm saying that the games come out and it's like, oh, we don't care about that no more. Here comes the games. Like, yeah, where's that to keep that same energy all the way through? You're pissed off at Microsoft. F that. I'm mad at Microsoft. But now the games come out, it's like, cool, Microsoft's I don't know, like if be mad at them and say F the games.
Heck, that's insane. I think if somebody was to tell you, yeah, that Xbox showcase sucked, and you'd be like, why? Because they laid off a bunch of people. You're gonna be like, man, get the hell out of my face. I think that's extreme to be like, yeah, I'm protesting Microsoft games because he did some layoffs. I don't think that's odd. That would be odd for somebody to do that.
If you as my friend punch me in my jaw and then the next week you brought me some crumble cookies, I don't want your fucking crumble cookies.
That's not the same. That's like when people are like, yeah, I'm gonna protest or boycott this thing because of a decision they made. It doesn't always add up. Like if this was Xbox doing something that was morally wrong, like saying something that was offensive or doing something that was offensive, I could see that. But just doing layoffs, I don't feel like that's enough to be like, hey, I don't want to play these games. That's because at the end of the day, we all care about the games. So like you said, yeah, having good games is enough to make people forgive you. So I think I haven't seen anybody be like, yo, because this studio does layouts, I'm not even caring about it. That is,
I've had a few friends, some developers say like, yo, I'm not messing with anything that Xbox does because of the layoffs that were so egregious to me. Yeah.
That's standing on a business. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh, hey, there's somebody out there.
But, let's get back to the thing. I think they did a great job. I think they did better than PlayStation, better than Nintendo. And I guess the reason is because they brought out so many games, right? How many games in total was it 30 or something like that?
Yes, it's about 30. So that's the thing. It wasn't 30 games, but it was 30 announcements.
30 announcements, okay.
I say this every time and people always give me crap for it. I feel like Xbox has to do this because they have so much more to gain / lose, however you want to put it. Microsoft in regards to Xbox has been behind when it comes to game releases and things that they're doing.
Agreed.
While Sony and Nintendo are breaking the box down all the time. And even this year, you look at this year was quote unquote a down year for Sony. We didn't get any like God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon, any like major things, but we still end up getting Helldivers and Stellar Blade, which people loved. Xbox, they gave us Senua's Hellblade, which was great. And then what else? So I think that you're having finally coming to the party, I think 3 years later. So you have to come in with a bang versus Nintendo and Sony have both been at the party, chopping it up, having Game of the Year contenders every year. I think they had a great year, but you had to. I think this was like a make or break. People were starting to give up on you, and you did exactly what you needed to do, which was get back into the race.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I want to kind of jump over to one other thing, which was the Call of Duty Black Ops. A lot of people were super excited about like some of the new movement. Black Ops coming to Xbox Game Pass day one, which was super exciting for a lot of us, right? A lot of us pay for, I think you have to have premium Game Pass in order to access it. Or I'm not exactly sure. Did you?
I thought it was Game Pass Ultimate. I thought everybody.
Or Ultimate? Okay.
Isn't that the one everybody has?
I thought there's two different versions, right? So whatever the ultimate one is, you have to have that. But anyway, I was super excited to hear that we'd have access to it and it'd be here day one. And I thought that was super good news for Xbox, right? And people that are on PlayStation have to buy it outright, which sucks a little bit for some of my PlayStation friends. But I don't know. I thought that was another huge win for Xbox there.
That was huge. I'll use this to segue into my next point, I guess, that we were going to have. I think that we all knew this was coming. We all hoped this was coming. As an Xbox owner, I'm extremely happy. I think that this was a good milestone to kind of get that. I don't know if this would be a console seller per se. I think this would be similar to MLB The Show. You know, that game was strictly on PlayStation. It came over to Game Pass day one. Those who wanted it on PlayStation just bought it on PlayStation. They didn't go out to get an Xbox for that, you know. And I think the same thing. Those who were on PC or on PlayStation won't get Xboxes for this, but it's still a great perk to have that you know every year you're going to be getting the latest baseball game, the latest Call of Duty. That's really good. Now, I want to segue that into the next point is because it's 300 gigabytes in storage. And so with that 310 gigabytes of storage, I think it was kind of swept under the rug. Everybody was so excited. And we didn't even talk about how huge this storage is just in time for for Microsoft to come in with, hey, here are some new Xboxes. Here's an Xbox refresh because you're going to need the storage to play the latest Call of Duty. I think it was it's frustrating. Games shouldn't be 310 gigabytes. Games shouldn't require internet to play the campaign. That's me, and we don't need new Xboxes. So great that we're getting COD, but I feel like it was all an elaborate scheme to get us to try to buy these new Xboxes. That's my conspiracy theory of the day.
Sir, PlayStation came out with a PS Slim or a slight hardware refresh. Xbox is doing a slight hardware refresh for giving you some extra storage. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. If you already have Xbox, you don't need to buy the new ones. You can purchase additional storage. If you're interested in Xbox, here's some Xbox at similar price points with some additional storage. I think it's fair. I don't think they're saying like, yo, you got to go out like it's the latest and greatest thing.
Again, we talked about this here. I do the same thing with PlayStation. We don't need these hardware refreshes. Remember, I went on that rant about how the 8K, there was 8K on the PS5 box, and we weren't even doing 4K yet. I keep the same. I try to keep the same energy. I think the mid console refreshes are a little silly. I think that, for example, right, PlayStation did it and it was bad. My issue with Xbox is you're increasing the storage for. You're punishing those of us who have been loyalists, right? I bought an Xbox Series S when it first dropped, and it's like a big FU to me because now you're releasing that same thing, but with 1 terabyte of storage. Why didn't it have 1 terabyte to begin with if this is your budget option? And then now you release that as like your digital Xbox, and then you had your disc Xbox. Now you have a digital Series X. So it's like, why wasn't that a thing from the beginning? Why did you give us this Series S digital just to come back and say, oh, here's a better digital console here? Like, I don't understand. It seems like some of these things could have been done from the beginning. That it's like you're double dipping, in my opinion.
I don't think it's like a FU. I think as the manufacturing costs come down, as you know, more and more consoles get out there, I think things become a little bit cheaper for them to manufacture and make, and then they're able to give us back those things in. Here's some additional storage at the exact same cost or reduced cost or whatever it is. So that's kind of how I see it. So I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing.
That's a good point.
My son has a Series S, and I just went ahead and got him the additional storage, and he plays it and loves it. But there's nothing in me that would run out and get a new Xbox unless it was a like a GPU or some type of serious update for it, right? But these small updates where it comes with additional storage, no, I'm not touching those at all. But it's nice for people who never upgraded.
This is for both, though, Xbox and PlayStation. I wish that these mid-generation refreshes would have had some internal improvements and not just storage or cosmetic. I wish that we could have said, okay, we'll do a refresh, and then the refresh now allows you to future-proof yourself for the games coming out. Like, I feel like if you were going to do a refresh for the Series S, make it more powerful, because everyone's been complaining about that. And the rumor is, again, they denied this, or Phil Spencer denied this, but the rumor is that the Series S was holding games back. That's what everybody is saying, that the Series S can't run certain games. And we even got Starfield at 30 frames per second at launch. Now they're upping it up to 60 frames per second, but only the Series X can get it, correct? I think that's what they said. I'm almost positive that's what they're doing. So it's like, why not give the Series S a mid-console refresh so where we can get better gameplay out of it? It wasn't just one terabyte. 1 terabyte is like a band-aid. You're not fixing the power issue.
I agree and I disagree at the same time. So what you're saying makes sense, but then like having like some type of upgrade in power, like in terms of like, you know, performance or something, would force me to have to purchase a new one. I don't want to do that until they come out with whatever new iteration of console. But I get what you're saying, and that's a fair point. That let's make the Series S a little bit more powerful, and that would have been putting people that got the S for the portability as an additional side console in a better state to be able to kind of play some of these games, and maybe you would have got Xbox out of that hole where some of the Series S games were kind of holding it back. So, you know, supposedly. So
It's
fair
it's
point.
interesting. And also, you know, with the Series X, the white one, the new white one that's coming out that's going to be digital, I think that one should be like $100 off. Like it should be $399 at launch. Because there's no disk drive. And one of the huge selling points of the Series X is the backwards compatibility. You know, that's one of the reasons I want one. That's why I want to upgrade. And I think if you're gonna do that and say, okay, it's now all digital, it should be some really good prices increases. You brought up manufacturing. I didn't think about that. That's a great point. So if manufacturing is a little bit cheaper, let's start giving us some deals on some of these things.
Maybe we see some deals for the holiday. I don't know what they have in store, but yeah, you're making some fair points, right? Bring them out, make them a little bit cheaper, maybe add some additional horsepower for the Series S if it's causing some bottleneck. And yeah, Xbox took a misstep, right? So bringing out an all digital Series X now is what they should have did to begin with, to be more in alignment with PlayStation. PlayStation went one way, Xbox went another way, and Xbox clearly made the mistake when it came to, you know, a cheaper SKU.
They
Sucks.
decided they were gonna circle back, you know.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
We're gonna circle back to digital. I mean, again, I don't think that you're wrong. You know, you have to do refreshes, but it's like the way we're going right now. We have the consoles, the PS4, the Xbox, and then we're having like the refreshes where you have like a slim version, and then you have like a black version of the Series S and the white version of the Series X. And then what? In 2 years, you're gonna be giving us what, a Pro of both probably coming, a Pro or an extra. So it's like we're constantly releasing different consoles. So I'm like, hey, if you're gonna do a mid refresh, it should just be one refresh. That's the Pro. Move on. But of course, you know, money talks, BS walks. So the money's probably going to tell them that these are selling, and that's why they do it.
All right. To kind of wrap things up before we head out, what was like your number one favorite game in all the Xbox news? And then I'll give mine, and then we'll kind of end there.
Favorite game in all of the Xbox news. I'm looking here. I'm gonna say Fable. I played a ton of Fable as a kid. That's like one of my first RPG-esque games. Fable 2 on the 360. So I'm really looking forward to that coming back. They have been teasing it and saying they've been announcing it for about a year now. So I kind of want to know a date on that, and it looks like it's going to be really good.
Don't leave the podcast. I've never played Fable before. I was for the street. I knew he was gonna say something. I looked at it, I knew of it, I wanted to play, but now it's an opportunity for me to possibly go back, touch the other ones, and then get familiar. So when a new one comes out, I'm excited. I know of Fable, I know a lot about it, but never played it. The game to me that I was looking forward to the most, or that stood out to me, was Gears of War. I waited in line to get the first Gears of War. I played it online, I made videos about it, I did a whole bunch of stuff. Love Gears. It's a great series, and I'm looking forward to the new one.
Gears was probably my top 3 too.
Top 3. In all, let's give it a quick score, and then I guess we can end. What would you give the entire thing?
Probably B+.
B+? Okay. Maybe an A- for me. I didn't have any issues with it, and I thought they gave us so many bangers, but I do agree with you. I'd have liked to see some hard dates, right, to get us more excited, and I would have loved for them to say, like, and after this you can play this right now, right?
Yeah. I think doing little stuff like giving hard dates or giving a shock drop, like you can play this right now, puts you up there. I think those are two things. Like I said, this was near perfect. They couldn't do anything else for me other than date. A couple extra dates here or there. This is a perfect show.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys leave your comments below. I'm clearly an Xbot. There's some things that Xbox needs to work on, and let us know what you guys think in the comments below.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys continue to give us your feedback. We enjoy hearing it. We enjoy viewing it. So thank you guys again for tuning in and for the support. We are what? almost at 30 episodes, 20, we at 25.
Getting close.
We're getting up there. We're getting up there. So you guys have been here for a quarter of the journey. The goal is 100. So thank you guys for the first quarter of the podcast. And this has been Addressed, guys.